If you're anything like me, you've probably stood right there at the edge of something important lately. Maybe it's a big project, maybe scary, or maybe just letting someone get truly close, in a relationship.
Yeah.
And then boom, there it is. This just like huge, heavy resistance.
That wall you hit, yeah.
Exactly. And it's that quiet thing, the truth we kind of keep hidden away, right? I can't really start this, not properly. Something inside just feels, I don't know, already broken or maybe too late, like I missed the boat.
That feeling of being used up or too late, it's so common.
It's suffocating, honestly, and I feel it physically, like the words just dissolve in my throat when I try to say what I really want, or I freeze up over the keyboard. It's clear the block isn't out there somewhere.
No, it's absolutely in here.
Or internal, totally.
It is entirely internal, and that exact feeling you're describing, that weight, that sense of being broken or too late, that's precisely where we need to gently turn our attention. We're so conditioned, aren't we, to immediately try and fix it or analyze it away. But for this deep dive, we're going to just pause.
Just pause.
Let's just notice what is actually present right now. Not what we think should be there, but, the tightening maybe, the heat, maybe a numbness.
Right, the actual physical thing.
That's our mission here. Just for a moment, stop trying to solve it and simply witness what's actively happening inside.
Okay, witnessing.
And if we can accept that awareness, just awareness, as our starting point, then here's the core idea for today. You are not fundamentally broken. You're not flawed.
Okay.
You are stuck.
And
And you're stuck because your past isn't really gone. It's not over there. It's still alive, right here, inside you. Not just as a memory you pull up sometimes, but as unfinished business.
Unfinished business. Okay, let's lean into that. That really resonates with that feeling of being paralyzed, but like desperately wanting to move forward. It happens pretty much every time I'm about to do something that feels necessary, but also vulnerable, Like closing the job application tab right at the last second.
Yeah. Or maybe avoiding a difficult conversation.
Totally. Or swallowing a no when I really need to say it, and just saying yes to something even while my whole body is kind of screaming, shrinking back.
Shrinking. That's a key sensation.
Yeah. So when I choke on that no, or my fingers just freeze over the send button, what is actually showing up inside me right then? It's not just logic telling me to stop.
No, rarely logic at that point.
It's this immediate, like, visceral dread, or maybe a voice that pops up saying, oh, if you succeed, you'll just be overworked, or they'll think you're desperate if you even try.
That voice, that dread, that specific feeling, that isn't just old history filed away neatly.
Right.
That is a living presence right now.
Yeah.
It's a part of you caught in an old loop. And critically, it thinks it's still protecting you.
Protecting me. From what?
From the original hurt. See, when a feeling from the past, or a conflict, or even a longing was interrupted somehow, left unresolved, it doesn't just go to sleep.
Okay.
It haunts. It repeats.
Yeah.
It sort of leaks its energy into your present choices, dimming your natural yeses and turning up the volume on all your fears.
Wow. Leaking into the present.
Yeah. And what's really profound here is that you often think, oh, I'm just choosing not to start this project because I lack motivation today.
Right. Laziness or whatever.
But really, some younger part of you is actually choosing not to get hurt again. A part of you is still frozen in some old moment where trying something or reaching out or speaking up, well, it cost you something important back then.
So this resistance, it isn't laziness at all. It's more like a very loyal bodyguard,
Yeah.
but maybe one that's working off really old intel.
Beautifully put.
Wow.
A loyal bodyguard with outdated information. It's an act of deep, sometimes unconscious loyalty to a younger self that learned to protect itself in that way.
Okay, that shifts things. It makes focusing on the now, on the feeling right now, seem suddenly really important. Urgent, almost.
Exactly.
So how do we do that? You mentioned a method.
Yeah.
Phenomenology.
Yes. Phenomenology is key here. It's simply about focusing only on what is directly here, right now, in your direct sensory experience. Setting aside the why, the story, the interpretation, just for a bit.
Okay, direct experience.
So let's try it. You listening can do this too.
Okay.
Bring to mind one thing, maybe something small, that you're currently avoiding starting. Don't analyze why you're avoiding it. Just bring the image of taking the first tiny step into your awareness.
Okay, I'm picturing it now. Sending that email I really need to send.
And then what happens physically?
Yeah.
Right now.
Okay, yeah. immediately without even thinking. Shoulders tense up, right up towards my ears. Breath gets kind of shallow, choppy. Stomach clenches up like a fist. And oh yeah, my hands feel cold.
Got it right there.
Oh.
That physical sensation is the truth talking in this moment. In this work, we often say the body is truth. It doesn't rationalize like the mind does. It doesn't really lie. And it doesn't forget in the same way.
It remembers differently.
It holds every unfinished moment. All those swallowed words, the stifled tears, the desires we suppressed, that physical thing you just felt, the clench, the shallow breath, that is the past speaking, but in the direct language of the body.
Huh.
You might tell yourself, I'm just procrastinating, but your body is actually carrying the exhaustion of maybe 1,000 unspoken words, unshed tears, maybe even unlived parts of your life.
That resonates. That feeling of exhaustion after not doing something, like swallowing anger at a colleague instead of just setting a clear boundary.
Exactly. You didn't just let go of the thought. You actively froze the energy that was mobilized for action. Maybe in your chest, your throat, your jaw, gotten stuck.
Wow. Okay. That's heavy, but it also feels incredibly precise. So if the body's holding all this frozen, mobilized energy, how do we even begin to thought out or move it without just getting overwhelmed?
Great question. The first step is recognizing that the avoidance, the procrastination, the freezing up its protection, it's not failure. It served a purpose once.
Seeing it as protection, not failure. Okay.
And that leads us to the mechanism behind it, which in Gestalt theory we call the interruption of the contact cycle.
The contact cycle, what's that?
It's basically the natural rhythm of how we engage with life, how we get our needs met. It's a flow.
A flow,
Think about being hungry.
Yeah.
Simple example. First, there's a sensation, maybe your stomach rumbles. Then awareness, oh, I'm hungry, I need food. Then mobilization, you gather energy, maybe stand up.
Yeah.
Then action, walking to the kitchen, making something. Then contact, actually eating the food. And finally, withdrawal, feeling satisfied, the need met, resting.
Sensation, awareness, mobilization, action, contact, withdrawal. Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. It's just living.
It's the natural flow of aliveness.
Right.
But what happens when that cycle gets blocked, interrupted? Say, back in childhood, you expressed anger, maybe perfectly valid anger at something unfair, but you were immediately punished or shamed for it.
Right. Or maybe you reached out for affection, for comfort, and you were pushed away or ignored.
Exactly. So the system learns very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, completing that cycle, expressing anger, reaching for connection leads to pain or rejection. So the energy that was mobilized for that action, it doesn't just vanish.
It freezes.
It freezes or it gets diverted. It becomes an adaptive defense strategy to ensure your survival, emotionally or even physically, back then.
And then decades later,
You try to launch that project or speak your truth in a relationship or set that boundary, and that old interruption, that frozen energy wakes up inside. It basically says, whoa, hang on. Last time we mobilized energy like this, it hurt. Let's shut it down right here, right now. Keep us safe.
So we're essentially being run by these old trauma reflexes, these automatic survival patterns.
In many ways, yes, especially when the reaction feels disproportionate to the current situation.
That helps me understand why certain defenses feel so automatic, so out of my conscious control, like projection, that was mentioned. The fear that the world will judge or reject you if you put yourself out there.
Ah, projection. Yes, it's one of the most common and kind of sneaky interrupters.
Sneaky how?
Because you organize your whole present life around avoiding this thing you expect to happen out there. You anticipate external judgment, external rejection. So you wait for the perfect moment, the perfect words, the perfect product.
Because you're terrified of that external criticism.
Terrified. But here's the twist.
Okay.
Isn't some judgment real, though? I mean, if I launch a truly bad product or write a really flawed sentence, people might criticize it. How do I tell the difference between, valid external feedback and my own internal projection stuff? That is the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's crucial. The difference often lies in the intensity and the source of the pain or fear it triggers.
Intensity and source.
If a potential criticism or even mild feedback sends you into a spiral of deep existential shame or terror, chances are that feeling isn't actually brand new. It's not just about this current situation.
It's an old wound getting poked.
Exactly. It's an old wound. The judgment you fear out there is often the echo of a judgment you already carry inside. Maybe it's the internalized voice of a critical parent or a teacher or a past rejection that you never fully processed, never really grieved.
So The thing I'm scared of facing outside
is often already living inside you.
Yeah.
As self-criticism, as self-doubt, fully internalized.
Wow, that's sobering.
It is. And the quiet tragedy is you're putting all this energy into avoiding it externally when it's already running the show internally. The only way to really stop projecting it outwards is to turn towards it, reclaim that fear, that judgment, and work with it as your own internal unfinished business.
I see. So the fear feels like it's about the future, about what might happen out there, but it's actually a reflection of an old hurt we never healed inside.
Precisely. Which leads us really nicely to that story you mentioned, the one about Maya. It illustrates this process so well, this idea of meeting the silent self.
Yeah, Maya. Let's talk about her. She wants to launch her creative project, right? A podcast.
Desperately wants to, but every single time she goes to record, she freezes. Throat closes up. Total panic.
And the fear is
that no one will listen.
no.
Or maybe even worse, that they will listen and then they'll publicly dismiss her, ridicule her.
Okay, so what was the unfinished business underneath that? The quiet rupture.
When she was 8 years old, she wrote this poem for school. She was bursting with pride, just beaming. She ran excitedly to show her father.
Yeah.
He was busy on an important phone call, just waved her away impatiently, maybe said later, and then he completely forgot, never asked about it again.
Oh, ouch.
She took that poem, folded up really small, tucked it away somewhere, and she didn't write poetry again for years.
So that moment,
Yeah.
it didn't just end, it became a pattern frozen inside her. And the podcast, her creative project now, it isn't just a podcast, it's somehow like a chance for a reunion with that little 8-year-old girl with her folded up poem, her silenced voice.
That is the heart of it. It's a potential reunion with her own silenced desire to be heard, to be seen, to have her creation received.
So the work for Maya isn't about finding better recording equipment or forcing herself or trying to ignore the fear, telling herself to just get over it.
No amount of getting over it will work long term, because until she can meet that younger part of herself, the one still holding that folded poem, still feeling that dismissal.
The podcast probably won't happen. Not really. Not because she lacks talent, but because a part of her is still waiting for someone, maybe the adult her, now to metaphorically turn off the phone and say,
I'm listening. Tell me about your poem. I want to hear it.
wow.
Exactly. And this is why real transformation, deep change, it doesn't usually come from just changing your thoughts on the surface or from what we sometimes call spiritual bypassing.
Spiritual bypassing, like trying to jump over the messy feelings.
Yeah, telling yourself, it's all good, just be positive, let it go, when actually a part of you is really hurting or scared and needs attention.
Okay.
Real transformation comes from the courageous and often very tender act of turning toward the very thing you've been turning away from. It's about finding a way to complete the cycle that got interrupted way back when.
Completing the cycle now. How?
It's about returning in your awareness to that point of interruption, and this time giving that younger part of you what it actually needed back then but didn't receive.
What does that look like?
It might be simply offering a compassionate witness, acknowledging the reality of the feeling, maybe allowing the tears that weren't allowed then, giving it a voice, offering full acceptance, not judgment.
So practically, how could someone listening right now begin to apply this, even in a small way?
Okay. Find one small, quiet rupture that maybe bubbles up as we're talking. Doesn't have to be huge trauma. Maybe a time you were laughed at for dancing freely, or a time you didn't set a boundary you needed and you felt that shrinking feeling inside.
Okay, got one in mind. Now, just imagine returning to that younger version of you in that moment. But return as the adult you are now. The one who knows more, who have more resources, who is stronger, who can hold more complexity.
Right, as my adult self.
And just gently turn toward that younger part with your full, kind presence. And maybe silently, or even out loud if you're alone, say something simple like, I see you. I see how hard that was. Your feelings made perfect sense then. And guess what? I'm here now. I won't leave you alone with this feeling.
I'm here now. I won't leave.
That's the essence of it. It's the process of consciously, authentically responding to what was happening back then, but doing it from the safety and resource of the present moment, right here, right now.
That completely reframes this whole idea of moving forward. It's not about ditching the past or cutting off the parts of us that got hurt.
Not at all.
It's like we move forward by meeting them, fully, tenderly. We stop being just a victim of our history.
And become an active participant in your own healing.
Yes.
Taking ownership of that internal landscape, not as blame or guilt, but as active responsibility. Is that the right word?
It is. And I love how in Gestalt we sometimes play with that word. Responsibility.
Responsibility. The ability to
The
respond.
ability to respond consciously now from your doubt self, rather than just automatically reacting based on those old survival scripts from the past.
That feels empowering, different.
Precisely. And remember, healing isn't about becoming some perfect, new, fixed, or polished version of yourself. That's often another trap.
Right. Not about fixing.
It's much more about coming home.
Yeah.
Coming home to who you've actually always been. Deep down, beneath all the armor, all the adaptations you needed to survive, and those parts you perhaps thought were broken or flawed or shameful. They're often not flaws at all. They are precisely where the vulnerability is deepest, yes, but also where the light gets in, where your most authentic voice was perhaps born, even if it was quieted for a time.
Where the light enters. I like that.
Your past is not a life sentence in a prison. It's the ground you stand on. It's the soil from which you grow as you write the next chapter. And truly, if you're still breathing, you are right on time.
Yeah.
You are not too late.
Not too late.
So maybe here's a final thought for you, for everyone listening, to carry with you. What if the past isn't a prison at all? What if it's actually a portal?
A portal.
Yeah, a doorway. Not necessarily back to who you were, but a doorway to who you really are right now, when you stop abandoning those younger parts of yourself, when you bring them home.
Wow.
You don't need to feel perfectly ready or totally fixed or completely healed to begin whatever it is you need to begin. Just start. Start because you are here
Yeah.
right now with all the mess and all the magic.